Yeah.
What? Okay.
That's the good stuff. Let it breathe.
All right, Jay. Show 'em what you got.
It's not what you got.
All right.
It's how you give it. It's not.
We expand our consciousness by bringing the things that are hiding within our unconscious and subconscious into our conscious awareness. 98% of our lives are being lived through subconscious perceptions and unconscious habits. No matter who we are, we have a lot of room for growth and learning. As we take things deeper, you may feel yourself getting a little uncomfortable. And that's because in order to grow, we've got to go into the uncomfortable places within ourselves. We've got to once again practice self-honesty like we never have before. We need to have the courage to acknowledge the things that we've been suppressing or hiding from within ourselves. By doing that, we become less controlled by fears, insecurities, and stress, and we have new choices available to us. Just imagine some of those things that you've been avoiding in life because of insecurity or fear. Just imagine if we uprooted that fear. Just imagine the new experiences you might be able to have. So let that be a guiding light for you as you navigate through the self-study sessions. This week we're really focusing on perception. Now remember, perception comes mostly from our subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind was conditioned mostly between the ages of 0 and 7. During that time, we began to formulate the perceptions which told us about our place in the world. These perceptions told us how we needed to show up in the world in order to be acknowledged or loved, or in order to avoid danger. These are just perceptions. They are entirely subjective and they vary from person to person. Stress stems from perception. Imagine that we're all gathered in the same place and we all observe the same event in our immediate environment. As that observation is filtered through our subconscious perception, I get a feeling that may differ from yours. So we experience the same event, but my experience of it is emotionally triggering to the point of depression, whereas you may observe the same event and you're triggered into happiness. So same event, different perception. If we had an opportunity to experience stress or suffering less, then would we take that opportunity? Would we take the responsibility needed in order to reduce our stress? If your answer is yes, then you're in the right place. So this week we focus on taking responsibility for our perceptions. And once again, in order to do this, we'll need to make some really profound observations. The awareness exercise this week asks you once again to get incredibly honest with yourself. We're going into a vulnerable place that exists within every human being. We're going into that vulnerable world within us to see what's been hiding there, to see what's been controlling us beneath the surface, and what we've been trying to avoid. Number 1, use self-honesty like you never have before. When you're making observations this week, you may see things about yourself that you really don't want to admit. Do not let the mind come in and put a positive spin on this. Just allow yourself to gather the information that is true about what you're carrying within yourself. Gather that information, bring some love to it, knowing there is no positive, negative, good, or bad. All of this is just information, and the more honest we can get, the deeper we're going to go into freedom. Perhaps you noticed some stories or perceptions that tend to play out for you. These perceptions usually sound like a personal narrative in the mind. There is usually some feeling that something in the outside world is wrong and that we are victimized by that. There may or may not be truth to this perception, but we as humans become very attached to these perceptions and even addicted to the stories and the narratives that play out in our head. So we are one step ahead of the game if we can notice what the familiar stories, narratives, and perceptions are that we continually play out in our mind. And as we play them out in the mind, can we also become keenly aware of the emotions that these perceptions evoke? In the next session, we're going to take a look at how these thoughts and emotions feel inside of our bodies. And we'll also take a look at what our relationship is with these thoughts and emotions. Do we try to numb out of these things with drinking or exercise or connecting with other people or shopping? Do we really choose to be with these thoughts and emotions so that we can fully experience the grip, so we can fully understand the energy that we're carrying within us? Because the more we can understand that energy, the more aware of it we become. That's when we create this element of choice that we didn't have before. So when we're totally victimized by stress, we experience things in a way that tell us there is no way out. The outside world is this way, and I am forced to feel this way in the world. I don't have any other choice. I feel heavy. I feel lost. I feel anxious, depressed, lonely. All of these things become our identity. But when we really take the time for self-study, we can experience these energies, these thoughts arising within ourselves. We can experience and actually observe the narrative that plays out in our mind, which cause the emotions, which cause the tension in our body. And from that observer role is where we will learn empowerment. From that observer role, we now become an experiencer of the energy, and we become the one sort of in charge of our relationship to that energy. But as long as we go off avoiding it or trying to numb out of it, it's going to come in and we will be completely unconscious of the decisions that we have in the moment. And these energies will grip at us and pull at us, and then we will project them into our relationships. So we're going to take things deeper and deeper to learn to become expert observers. Learn to notice what's happening within you in that state of stress. Observe the thoughts, the narratives, the emotions, and really, really get in touch with the perceptions. That story that's playing out that tells you how the world is and what your place in the world is. Be committed to yourself here and try to find some sense of beauty and power in this process. This is a challenging thing to do over the internet with folks. This is a challenging place to take yourself. However, there are some masters out there who can provide really great support as you walk through this. And I'm just going to suggest my teacher, who is available to anyone who's truly committed to walking through this stuff. His name is Tomei, and I'm going to put his contact information at the end of this video. Feel free to reach out to him and request a phone call or a video chat or make some exchanges via email. And of course, you can always reach out to me. But no, you are not alone. You do not have to feel completely isolated in this journey. There are so many of us who are walking through it as well. And it's just really great sometimes to know that there's someone out there who is speaking your language and understands what you're walking through. I'll have more for you soon, but please stay committed and go far and deep with the content that's already been provided. Thanks so much. Namaste.
Yeah.
What? Okay.
That's the good stuff. Let it breathe.
Alright, Jay. Show me what you got.
It's not what you got.
Alright.
It's how you give it. It's not